Another discrepancy that Bart Ehrman often brings up is which day was Jesus crucified? Now, this is a very complicated question, and he explains it in his book at length, but the short order of the question is simply this. The Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, portray Jesus as crucified on Friday. Ehrman argues that John actually changes the day, that John wants to portray Jesus not as crucified on Friday, after the Passover meal. He claims that John wants to have Jesus crucified on Thursday, before the Passover meal. Now, why would Ehrman think that John's doing this? Well, he claims that John wants to portray Jesus as being crucified the very moment that the Passover lambs are being slaughtered. And so therefore, because the lambs were slaughtered on Thursday, supposedly John's gospel wants to put Jesus' crucifixion on Thursday. So Ehrman makes his case that in fact John and the synoptics disagree with each other here. But again, there are reasons to think that Ehrman is reading much too much into the text itself. A couple examples in this regard. He looks at the Last Supper description in John chapter 13 and argues, hey, where is the description of the Passover meal? There's no description of the Passover meal. It's basically, it looks like a normal meal with Jesus washing his disciples' feet. But what Ehrman doesn't recognize here is that John may have had reasons for not including the full discussion of the Passover meal. He may have wanted to tell things that were left out from the Synoptic Gospels. We have every good reason to think that John knew the Synoptic Gospels. He wouldn't want it just to retell the same story once again. And so apparently John wanted to hone in on Jesus' washing of the disciples' feet at that meal. Just because he omits things doesn't mean that there's a contradiction. Again, authors can't say everything. By definition, all historical accounts are selective. So therefore, the fact that John omits discussions of the meal proper isn't forming a contradiction. Ehrman also talks about this phrase, the day of preparation. And he argues that John is describing Jesus' death as happening on the day of preparation of Passover, which Ehrman claims is the time when the Passover lambs are prepared for the meal. But the term day of preparation is not most naturally taken that way. The term day of preparation is actually very much a standard term for Friday, the day of preparation, not for the Passover meal, but the day of preparation for the Sabbath. In fact, John confirms this same thing. When you look into John chapter 19, you realize they wanted to take Jesus' body down from the cross, even in John, because the next day was a Sabbath day. What does that tell you? It tells you that John has Jesus being crucified on Friday, just like the Synoptic Gospels. So at the end of the day, if one wants to see a contradiction there, they can do it by reading into the text. Once they understand the way ancient historiography works and take the text into deeper details, they realize that actually John and the Synoptics agree pretty well.